Camilla Harrington sat at her polished oak dining table, staring at the slip of paper that symbolized years of frustration, her son Nathan's final high school report card. D's and F's painted the page like stains she couldn't scrub away. Nathan, tall but narrow-shouldered, slouched into the room with a grin that made Camilla's jaw tighten. "Well, I'm done with school," he announced, as if graduating with failing grades was some kind of achievement. "Done with school?" "Nathan, you barely scraped by," Camilla snapped, her manicured nails tapping the table. "What's your plan now?" Nathan shrugged. "Easy. I'll join Harrington and Company like Dad always said. Family business, family future. No point in wasting time at college when the job's already mine." Camilla's throat tightened. The words "like Dad always said" cut deeper than Nathan realized. His late father, Richard, had been born into privilege but never earned a thing for himself. He drank, gambled, and eventually left Camilla to clean up his debts before dying in a scandalous accident that still lingered in town gossip. Nathan had inherited Richard's careless confidence, and it terrified her. "Listen to me carefully," Camilla said, her tone icy. "You don't waltz into my company as a prince waiting for his crown. If you want to work for me, you start at the bottom. No excuses. No shortcuts." Nathan rolled his eyes. "The bottom? What, pushing papers?" "Mom, please. That's beneath me." Camilla leaned forward, eyes sharp. "It's either that or find your own job. And if you think I'll fund your laziness while you sit around gaming all day, you're wrong." For the first time in years, Nathan's cocky smile faltered. "You've got 3 weeks," she continued. 3 weeks to find real work. If not, you'll start in my office, under my rules." Nathan laughed bitterly. "And what's that supposed to mean? Janitor? Coffee boy?" Camilla's lips curled into something between a smile and a warning. "Closer. Let's just say, the role requires you to blend in with my team. Seamlessly. No one will know you're my son." Nathan's brows furrowed. "What are you talking about?" "You'll see," Camilla said, standing and leaving him with a silence heavier than any punishment she had ever given. As the deadline loomed, Nathan brushed off her words, convinced she was bluffing. But when the 3 weeks ended, Camilla revealed the role she had in mind, and it would turn his entire identity upside down. The 3 weeks passed faster than Nathan expected. At first, he strutted around the house, bragging to his friends that his mom's threats were empty. "She'll cave," he told them over late-night gaming sessions. "She needs me to take over the company someday. I've got all the leverage." But as the days ticked by, his bravado began to crumble. He applied for jobs half-heartedly, a few applications to tech stores, a restaurant or two, and heard nothing back. Each rejection chipped away at his confidence. On the morning of the deadline, Camilla was waiting for him in the kitchen. Her silk blouse and perfect hair made her look every bit the CEO she was. She sipped tea calmly as if she'd been expecting this moment all along. "Well?" she asked. Nathan rubbed the back of his neck. "Didn't work out. The job market's tough." Camilla set down her cup and leaned forward. "So, you're ready to accept my offer?" Nathan frowned. "Depends what this offer actually is." She gestured for him to sit. He did, nervously, as if the chair itself might spring a trap. "You'll start in the support staff division," she said. "The entry-level position everyone begins with. Filing, answering phones, running errands. A junior assistant." "That's humiliating enough," Nathan muttered. "But why the secrecy about me being your son?" Camilla's smile was sharp. "Because you won't be my son inside that office. You'll be Nicole, my niece." Nathan blinked. The words didn't make sense at first, like she'd spoken a foreign language. "Nicole? You're serious." "Completely," she replied. "Our office is tightly knit. The women rely on trust and camaraderie. Dropping a spoiled man into their ranks would destroy that balance. But a young woman eager to learn? She'll fit right in." Nathan's chair screeched against the tile as he pushed back. "You've lost it." "No way. I'm not dressing up like some." Camilla cut him off with a raised hand. "Watch your tone. You've wasted every opportunity I've given you. This is your last chance. You want a future with Harrington and Company? This is how you earn it." Nathan's heart pounded. He wanted to storm out, but the reality was crushing. No job, no money, no backup plan. His friends couldn't support him. His grades wouldn't get him into college. He was cornered. Camilla saw the fear in his eyes and pressed her advantage. "You're slight, soft-featured. With the right clothes, makeup, and training, you'll pass easily. You'll live as Nicole at the office and here at home. No slipping back into old habits. This isn't a costume. It's a role." Nathan's lips trembled. "I can't. People will laugh at me." Camilla's gaze softened, but only slightly. "Or they'll finally respect you for working hard, for proving yourself. The choice is yours." Silence stretched. Nathan clenched his fists under the table. Every part of him screamed to refuse. And yet, he whispered the words that sealed his fate. "Fine. I'll do it." Camilla exhaled in satisfaction, rising from her chair. "Good. Then we start today. The transformation begins now." Camilla led Nathan upstairs, where a row of unfamiliar clothes, cosmetics, and even a new nameplate awaited him. Nathan had agreed, but he had no idea how far his mother intended to take Nicole's life. Camilla pushed open the door to her bedroom. Spread across the bed was an arrangement that made Nathan's stomach drop: skirts, blouses, hosiery, and even a pair of modest heels. A neatly folded bra and panty set rested on top, brand tags still attached. Nathan froze at the doorway. "You already bought all this?" Camilla smirked. "Did you really think I'd give you a choice and not prepare for the outcome? I've been planning this since the day you failed your first exam." "That's twisted," Nathan muttered, but his voice was weak. "Discipline looks twisted to the undisciplined," Camilla replied smoothly. She picked up the bra and held it out. "Start with these." Nathan recoiled. "No way. I'll look ridiculous. Everyone will see right through it." "Not if you commit," Camilla said. Her eyes narrowed. "This isn't a game. If you walk away now, don't come back. You'll be on your own." The words cut through him like glass. Images flashed in Nathan's mind, sleeping on a friend's couch, being laughed at by his old classmates, begging for a job at some fast food counter. His throat tightened. Shaking, he snatched the clothes from her hand and retreated into the bathroom. Inside, Nathan stared at his reflection. He peeled off his t-shirt and shorts, then slid into the smooth fabric of the bra and panties. His skin prickled at the unfamiliar touch. The blouse and skirt followed, fitting tighter than he expected. When he finally stepped into the heels, his balance wobbled, and he nearly toppled against the sink. He caught sight of himself in the mirror, awkward, trembling, but undeniably altered. His angular features softened under the clothes, as if the outfit itself was erasing parts of him. "Get out here," Camilla called. Nathan shuffled back into the bedroom. Camilla's eyes lit up with triumph. "Not bad for a first try. But we're only halfway there." She sat him at her vanity, her tools already laid out: foundation, eyeliner, lipstick, mascara. Nathan tried to pull away, but her hands were firm on his chin. As she brushed powder across his face, Camilla spoke softly. "This isn't punishment, Nathan. It's a rebirth. You've hidden behind excuses your whole life. Nicole will have no such shield. She'll have to earn respect." When she was done, Nathan barely recognized himself. The makeup sharpened his cheekbones, the lipstick brought color to his lips, and the slight arch she gave his brows made his eyes seem larger, more vulnerable. "Stand," Camilla ordered. Nathan rose, unsteady on his heels. Camilla adjusted his blouse, tucked a strand of his hair behind his ear, then stepped back with a smile. "There she is," she said. "Nicole Harrington, my new assistant." Nathan's breath caught. He wanted to scream, to tear it all off, but part of him was frozen, staring at the mirror. Because for the first time, he wasn't just Nathan in costume. He looked like someone else entirely. Camilla clapped her hands. "Tomorrow, we test Nicole outside these walls. You'll be introduced to the staff, and you'll convince them you belong." Nathan's stomach lurched. Pretending in front of his mother was one thing. Fooling an entire office was another. Morning sunlight spilled across the Harrington estate as Nathan, now Nicole, sat at the breakfast table, poking at a bowl of cereal. The skirt clung uncomfortably to his thighs, the bra straps itched against his shoulders, and the faint scent of strawberry shampoo clung stubbornly to his freshly washed hair. Camilla entered in a tailored navy suit, heels clicking like a metronome of authority. "Eat faster," she said. "Your first day is not a time for hesitation." Nathan groaned. "Do we have to? Can't we?" "Stop," Camilla cut him off. "You made your choice. Now you follow through. The office will meet Nicole Harrington today." His stomach churned. He felt like a fraud in costume, certain everyone would point and laugh. But he had no choice. The towering glass building loomed over downtown. Nathan swallowed hard as Camilla's car pulled into the private parking garage. She handed him a slim purse. "What's this for?" he asked, frowning. "Your ID, your lipstick, and a pack of tissues. Normal things any young woman would carry. Remember, Nicole isn't pretending she is." Nathan hesitated, then slung the strap over his shoulder, the purse feeling like a beacon of shame. Inside, the office buzzed with energy. Women in blazers hurried past with files, interns scurried with coffee trays, and the receptionist flashed a bright smile. "Good morning, Miss Harrington," she chirped. Her eyes flicked toward Nathan. "And who's this?" Camilla didn't miss a beat. "My niece, Nicole. She'll be joining our support staff team." Nathan's breath caught. The receptionist's eyes swept over him, then softened into friendliness. "Welcome, Nicole. You'll love it here." To Nathan's shock, there was no smirk, no second glance of suspicion. Just acceptance. Camilla led him to a cluster of cubicles where 3 young women sat chatting. "Ladies," she said, "this is Nicole. She's starting as a junior assistant." The women smiled politely. One of them, a brunette named Tasha, extended her hand. "We're glad to have you. The first day's always tough, but don't worry, we've all been there." Nathan hesitated before shaking her hand. Thanks," he stammered, his voice cracking. "Relax," Tasha chuckled. "You'll get the hang of it." She passed him a stack of files. "Here's your first test, copies and distribution. Easy stuff." Nathan carried the pile to the copier, but his hands shook. He fumbled with the machine, pressing the wrong buttons until papers jammed. A couple of employees glanced over, whispering. His face burned hot. "Having trouble, Nicole?" Tasha called kindly. I've got it," he muttered, trying to sound confident. His fingers scrambled, tugging at the jammed paper. Just when panic surged, the copier whirred back to life, spitting out clean sheets. Nathan let out a shaky sigh of relief. At lunch, the team gathered in the break room. Nathan carried a salad Camilla had packed for him, but the chatter around him made him dizzy. Then he caught fragments of conversation, talking about the company's next major event, the annual gala, where every employee was expected to attend in formal dress. "And Nicole," Tasha added cheerfully, "you'll come too, of course. It's tradition. All assistants go as a group. You'll fit right in." Nathan nearly choked on his forkful of lettuce. A gala? In a gown? Around hundreds of employees? Camilla, standing nearby with her coffee, gave him a knowing smile. "Yes," she said smoothly, "Nicole will be there." Nathan's heart stopped. Today was hard enough. But a public gala? That was a nightmare waiting to happen. The office had accepted Nicole far more easily than Nathan expected, but the upcoming gala loomed like a storm cloud. If he couldn't convince strangers in broad daylight, how could he possibly survive an entire night under chandeliers and scrutiny? Nathan shut his bedroom door that night and collapsed onto the bed, still in his blouse and skirt. His legs ached from the heels, his face itched from the makeup, and his head spun with humiliation. Somehow he had survived his first day, but the gala? That was impossible. He buried his face in his pillow. "I can't do this," he whispered. "Not in front of everyone." A knock came at the door. Camilla's voice was firm. "Open up, Nicole." Nathan groaned. "Don't call me that here." Camilla entered anyway, carrying a garment bag draped over her arm. She hung it carefully on the closet door and unzipped it just enough for satin and sequins to glimmer in the low light. "What's that?" Nathan asked warily. "Your gown," Camilla said with finality. "The gala is in 3 weeks. You'll be ready." Nathan shot up from the bed. No way. I barely survived today. Everyone's going to see through me. I'll trip, or my voice will give me away, or... Camilla raised a hand, silencing him. You want to prove yourself? This is the stage. Fail here, and you prove to me, to everyone, that you're not cut out for Harrington and company. Nathan's chest tightened. She always knew exactly how to box him in. The next few days became a relentless routine. Camilla hired Dominique, a trusted stylist, to coach him. Morning, voice lessons. Nathan had to soften his tone, practicing words until his throat ached. Afternoon, posture drills. Walking in heels across the marble floor, balancing books on his head, learning how to sit without sprawling. Evening, etiquette and conversation. Dominique quizzed him on polite small talk, correcting every slip that hinted at Nathan underneath. At first, he stumbled through everything, tripping, stammering, rolling his eyes in frustration. But slowly, frighteningly, he began to adapt. You're learning, Dominique praised after one session. Nicole is starting to look natural. Nathan clenched his fists. He hated the compliment. And yet, a flicker of pride stirred. One evening, after practice, Nathan lingered at the mirror. The makeup was light, just enough to soften his features. The blouse hugged his slim frame, the skirt flared slightly at his knees. He tilted his head. Nicole stared back. Not a joke. Not a failure. Someone who could almost exist. A rush of confusion surged through him. He tore his gaze away, yanking off the wig and tossing it aside. This isn't me, he muttered. But the words felt hollow. Behind him, Camilla appeared in the doorway. Be careful, Nathan, she said softly. The mirror tells truths we're not always ready to face. The gala loomed closer each day, and while Nathan dreaded it, Nicole was beginning to take shape. The question wasn't just whether he could fool the office anymore, it was whether he could fool himself. The evening of the Harrington and Company Gala arrived like a storm Nathan had dreaded for weeks. The ballroom at the Grand Regency Hotel glowed with chandeliers, velvet drapes, and the hum of wealth and influence. Hundreds of employees, clients, and guests filed in, dressed in gowns and tuxedos that shimmered under the light. Upstairs, in a private suite, Nathan sat frozen as Dominique fastened the final clasp of the gown Camilla had chosen for him. Midnight blue satin, elegant but understated, with a neckline that made his collarbones look delicate. A pair of heels lower than the stilettos he'd trained with completed the look. Nathan caught his reflection and almost didn't recognize himself. Nicole stared back, eyes wide, lips painted soft rose. I can't go out there, Nathan whispered. His palms were slick with sweat. You can, Camilla said firmly, adjusting his necklace. And you will. Remember, Nicole isn't pretending. Tonight she lives. Walking into the ballroom was like stepping into fire. Nathan clung to his purse strap, expecting every head to turn, every eye to pierce through the disguise. But no one did. Nicole. Over here. Tasha from the office waved him over, already surrounded by the other assistants. Their smiles were genuine, their chatter welcoming. Nathan exhaled shakily. They bought it. But just as relief crept in, a voice rang out across the room. Camilla Harrington. A tall man in a crisp tuxedo approached, silver at his temples and a confident grin plastered on his face. Nathan recognized him immediately, Victor Lorne, a rival executive known for his ruthless tactics. Camilla's smile was practiced, sharp as glass. Victor. How lovely. Victor's gaze flicked to Nathan. And who is this charming young lady? Before Nathan could react, Camilla slipped an arm around his shoulders. My niece, Nicole. She's just joined us at the company. Victor extended his hand. Nicole, what a pleasure. Nathan's heart pounded. If he refused, suspicion would rise. If he shook, his hand might tremble. Somehow, he steadied himself and placed his hand in Victor's. Pleasure's mine, he murmured, forcing a smile. Victor's eyes narrowed ever so slightly, but then he chuckled warmly and released the handshake. The night wore on with speeches, laughter, and music. Nathan began to relax, even enjoying the illusion of belonging. But then, during a lull in conversation, Tasha leaned close and whispered, You know, Nicole, I'm so glad you're here. The rumor mill was buzzing before tonight. Some of us heard Ms. Harrington was bringing her son to the company. Can you imagine? Nathan froze. His fork clattered against his plate. Don't worry, Tasha giggled, sipping her champagne. Clearly, that was nonsense. You fit right in. Nathan forced a laugh, but inside, panic erupted. Someone had spread word that Camilla's son might show up, and if anyone started connecting dots, the fragile mask of Nicole could shatter in an instant. Across the room, Victor Lauren's eyes lingered on him longer than they should have, as if he was already piecing together the truth. Nathan had survived his first night as Nicole, but whispers and rival eyes threatened to undo everything. And as Victor closed in, Camilla's dangerous game was about to spiral into something neither of them had prepared for. The gala orchestra played a soft waltz as waiters weaved through the ballroom with trays of champagne. Nathan stood stiffly near the edge of the crowd, forcing a polite smile whenever someone glanced his way. Inside, his stomach churned. Victor Lauren hadn't stopped watching him. The rival executive lingered across the room, chatting easily with board members while his sharp eyes kept cutting back toward Nicole. Finally, he excused himself and approached, a glass of red wine in hand. So, Nicole, he said smoothly, Camilla tells me you've joined the company. Brave of you, stepping into such a competitive environment. Nathan swallowed. Yes. I'm excited to learn. Victor tilted his head. And where exactly are you studying? Columbia? Yale? Surely a bright young woman like you is university-bound. Nathan froze. The assistants around him were listening too, expecting an answer. His pulse hammered in his ears. I took a gap year, he blurted. I wanted to get some real-world experience before college. Victor's smile widened, but his eyes narrowed. Interesting. And where are you from, Nicole? Upstate, Nathan said quickly. Small town. Victor chuckled. Camilla must be so proud, having such a resourceful niece. Camilla appeared at Nathan's side in an instant, sliding between them like a shield. Victor, must you interrogate every young woman you meet? She's here to enjoy the evening, not to endure one of your cross-examinations. Victor raised his glass in mock surrender. Of course. My apologies. But his gaze lingered on Nathan just a beat too long before he retreated. The moment Victor walked away, Camilla gripped Nathan's arm tightly, her nails digging in. Pull yourself together, she hissed under her breath. One wrong answer and the entire facade crumbles. Nathan winced. He knows something. Then prove him wrong, Camilla snapped. Nicole doesn't falter. Nicole doesn't stammer. Do you understand? Nathan nodded shakily, though his mind screamed in protest. Later in the evening, as the music swelled and couples moved to the dance floor, Tasha pulled Nathan aside. Hey, she whispered, don't let Victor get to you. He does this to everyone. Honestly, you handled yourself better than most newbies. Nathan blinked at her. Really? Of course, she said warmly. Half the time, he's just fishing for gossip. Don't worry. You've got this. Her encouragement sparked something Nathan hadn't expected, a flicker of belonging. For the first time, someone wasn't mocking him, they were defending Nicole. Just as Nathan began to breathe again, a server approached with a folded note. For Miss Harrington, he said, handing it directly to Nathan. Confused, Nathan unfolded the paper under the tablecloth. The words made his blood run cold. I know who you are. Meet me on the balcony at midnight, or everyone else will too. Nathan's hands trembled. Across the ballroom, Victor Lauren raised his glass, locking eyes with him. The mask was slipping, and Victor was ready to expose everything. But what awaited Nathan on the balcony could change the game in ways neither he nor Camilla expected. The ballroom clock ticked toward midnight, every chime pounding in Nathan's chest. His hands clutched the notes so tightly that the paper tore. Camilla was across the room speaking with investors, her smile effortless, her composure unshaken. She hadn't seen the message, and Nathan dared not show her. At 5 minutes to 12, he slipped out through the glass doors to the balcony. Cold air rushed over him, making the satin gown ripple. Below, the city glittered. Above, the moon cast silver light across the marble floor. Victor was already there, leaning casually against the railing, his glass of wine untouched. "Right on time," he said smoothly. "That shows discipline. Something your mother has been trying to teach you for years, I imagine." Nathan's breath hitched. "What? What do you mean?" Victor stepped closer, lowering his voice. "Drop the act. You're not Camilla's niece. You're her son." "Nathan, isn't it?" The name is cut like a blade. Nathan's knees nearly buckled. "You don't know what you're talking about." Victor smirked. "Oh, but I do. Your bone structure, your hesitation, the way you avoid eye contact when pressed, I've built my career reading people. And tonight, you've been screaming your secret." Nathan's throat tightened. "If you tell anyone." "I won't," Victor interrupted. He swirled the wine in his glass, watching the liquid catch the moonlight. "Not yet. See, Nathan or Nicole, if you prefer, I admire this little charade. Camilla thinks she's clever, hiding you in plain sight. But cleverness always has a cost." Nathan swallowed. "What do you want?" Victor's grin sharpened. "Loyalty. Access. Small favors at first, whispers of what Camilla plans, copies of certain documents. Nothing that will harm you. In exchange, I will keep your secret safe." Nathan's heart raced. He was being blackmailed, trapped between his mother's suffocating control and Victor's dangerous bargain. "If you refuse," Victor added, sipping his wine, "I'll make sure everyone in that ballroom knows exactly who you are." Imagine the scandal, the whispers, the laughter. Nicole, the girl who never was. Nathan's fear flared into anger. For weeks, he'd been powerless, shuffled around like a pawn in his mother's scheme. Now Victor wanted to use him too? He straightened his shoulders, wobbling slightly in the heels, but holding Victor's gaze. "You think I'm weak. Maybe I am. But if you try to ruin me, you won't just hurt me, you'll start a war with my mother. And she doesn't lose." Victor chuckled. "There's Richard's fire in you after all." I wondered if it survived. Nathan stiffened. "You knew my father?" Victor's eyes gleamed with something unreadable. "Better than you think. But that's a story for another time." He slipped a card into Nathan's hand. "Call me when you're ready to stop being your mother's pawn and start being your own player." And with that, Victor vanished back inside, leaving Nathan alone on the balcony, the card burning in his palm. Victor knew the truth, and now he had leverage. But his cryptic words about Nathan's father hinted at a secret Camilla had never shared, one that could unravel everything. Nathan slipped back into the ballroom, the card Victor had pressed into his hand hidden deep in his purse. The music swelled, people laughed, glasses clinked, but none of it touched him. His heart was still pounding from the confrontation on the balcony. Victor knew. Worse, he'd hinted at something about Nathan's father, Richard, that Nathan had never heard before. Camilla found him near the dessert table, her eyes sharp despite the polite smile plastered across her face. "Where have you been?" "Fresh air," Nathan said quickly. "It's too hot in here." Camilla studied him for a beat longer than necessary. She knew he was lying, but she let it slide, instead linking her arm through his. "Smile. You're Nicole tonight, remember." Nathan forced his lips upward, but his mind was racing. Hours later, when the gala ended and the last of the guests had left, Camilla's car glided through the city's streets. Nathan sat stiffly beside her, the gown pulled in his lap, his makeup smudged from stress. "Something happened," Camilla said suddenly, her voice low but commanding. Nathan glanced at her. "What makes you say that?" "Because you've been silent for 30 minutes. And silence is never your style." Nathan hesitated, then blurted out, "Victor knows." Camilla's head snapped toward him. "Know what?" "Everything. He knows I'm not Nicole. He knows I'm your son. He called me Nathan." For the first time in years, Camilla's flawless mask cracked. Her lips parted, but no words came. And Nathan continued, voice trembling. He said something about Dad. About Richard. Like he knew him. Really knew him. Camilla's knuckles whitened against the steering wheel. "Of course he knew your father," she said quickly. "They were in the same industry." "No," Nathan pressed, sensing the shift. "It was more than that. He said there was fire in me, Richard's fire." "What did he mean?" Camilla's jaw clenched. "Drop it. Nathan leaned forward. No. You've been controlling my life, reshaping me, hiding me behind this mask. And now someone else knows more about Dad than I do? I deserve answers. The car screeched to a stop at a red light. Camilla turned to face him, her eyes blazing. You want the truth? Fine. Your father wasn't the man you think he was. He wasn't just careless or entitled. He was reckless in ways that could have destroyed this family. Victor knows because he covered for him. And I swore I would never let you inherit those same weaknesses. Nathan's chest tightened. What weaknesses? Camilla shook her head. Not tonight. You're not ready. Nathan's voice cracked with desperation. I'm not a child anymore, Mom. If Victor's going to use this against us, I need to know what I'm fighting. Camilla looked at him, torn between control and fear. Finally, she whispered, Richard didn't just gamble with money. He gambled with people. And some of those debts are still out there. Nathan sat back in shock. His father's shadow was darker than he had ever imagined. And now, with Victor holding the truth like a weapon, the carefully constructed facade of Nicole might be the only shield left standing between survival and ruin. The next morning, Nathan sat at the kitchen table still in his pajamas, the gown from the gala crumpled in a heap on his bedroom floor. Sleep had refused to come. His mind replayed Victor's smirk, his words about Richard, his mother's evasions. Camilla entered the kitchen looking as pristine as ever, coffee in hand, already dressed for work. She barely glanced at him. We're not talking about last night, she said flatly. Nathan leaned forward, his voice low. I am. He reached into his pocket and slid the card Victor had given him across the table. He gave me this. Camilla's eyes flicked to it, then back to him, unreadable. Did you call him? No, Nathan said quickly. But I'm thinking about it. Camilla's jaw tightened. Don't. Victor doesn't make offers without strings. He's dangerous. Dangerous like Dad? Nathan shot back. For the first time in years, Camilla looked rattled. While Camilla was at work, Nathan crept into her home office. The mahogany desk gleamed, every drawer locked. But Nathan remembered where she kept the spare key, taped beneath the bottom drawer. His hands trembled as he rifled through files, tax reports, contracts, client lists. And then a thin folder marked with his father's name. Inside were yellowed documents and grainy photos. Richard Harrington shaking hands with Victor Lorne. Richard standing outside a smoky backroom club. Receipts for wire transfers, large sums of money moving in and out of offshore accounts. One photo stopped Nathan cold, his father at the same balcony where Victor had confronted him, a glass in hand, Victor at his side. Written on the back in Camilla's handwriting, the night everything nearly collapsed. Nathan's chest tightened. His father and Victor hadn't just been rivals. They'd been partners. As Nathan pored over the papers, he found something else, a contract draft, and signed, but with Victor's name printed clearly alongside Richard's. The title read, Harrington Lorne Holdings. They had planned a merger. Nathan whispered, Dad wasn't just reckless. He was going to give everything to Victor. The front door slammed. Nathan stuffed the folder back, but too late Camilla appeared in the doorway, her eyes narrowing at the open desk. You went through my files, she said coldly. Nathan held up the photo. You lied to me. Dad wasn't weak, he was conspiring with Victor. What did he do? What happened that night? Camilla's face hardened, but her voice shook. Richard betrayed this family. He almost handed our legacy to Victor. And when he backed out, Victor made sure he paid for it. Nathan's heart raced. Are you saying Dad's death wasn't an accident? Camilla's silence was louder than any confession. Nathan stared at her in horror. If his father's plane crash hadn't been fate, but Victor's revenge, then the man holding his secret wasn't just a rival, he was a killer. And now Nathan was tangled in the same web. Nathan couldn't shake the words, or rather, the silence, from his mother's lips. If Richard's death wasn't an accident, then Victor wasn't just a rival. He was an executioner, judge, and now blackmailer. That night, when the house was quiet, Nathan sat at his desk staring at Victor's card. His fingers hovered over his phone. Every instinct screamed to throw it away. But another voice, quieter, sharper, whispered, "If you want the truth, he's the only one who'll give it." He dialed. The line rang once before Victor answered. "I was wondering how long it would take you." Nathan swallowed. "Tell me about my father. Tell me everything." Victor chuckled. "Not over the phone. Tomorrow, midnight. Pier 17. Don't bring your mother." The call ended before Nathan could reply. As Nicole, Nathan tried to move through the day like nothing was wrong. The assistants chatted about weekend plans, deadlines, and gossip about upper management. But Nathan barely heard a word. Every time he caught his reflection in a monitor or glass wall, he saw Nicole's face staring back, flawless makeup, neat blouse, carefully styled hair. But behind the mask, his pulse hammered. At lunch, Tasha leaned over. "You're quiet today. Is everything okay?" Nathan forced a smile. "Just tired." But Tasha's concerned eyes lingered. She knew something was off. That night, fog rolled in from the river, shrouding the old pier in mist. Nathan hugged his coat around himself as his heels clicked against the wooden planks. Victor was already there, waiting beneath a single floodlight. He looked perfectly at ease, as if midnight meetings on deserted docks were his natural environment. "You came," Victor said smoothly. "Tell me," Nathan demanded. "What happened to my father?" Victor's smile was slow, deliberate. "Your father was ambitious, but sloppy. He wanted to merge our empires. But when Camilla found out, she threatened to cut him off entirely. He panicked, backed out, left me holding debts and promises I couldn't afford to be broken." Nathan's stomach twisted. "So you killed him?" Victor's grin widened. "Careful with accusations. Accidents happen. But let's say this, Richard's crash solved problems. For me. For Camilla. Even for you." Nathan's blood ran cold. "Now here you are," Victor continued, circling him like a shark. "Camilla thinks she's grooming you into her perfect little successor. But she's only turning you into a pawn. I'm offering you a chance to be more. Join me. Feed me her moves. And when the time comes, Harrington and company will be ours. Together." Nathan's throat tightened. "You're asking me to betray my mother." Victor leaned close, his breath warm against the night air. "I'm asking you to choose your future. Nicole is already your mask. Why not let her be your weapon?" Nathan stood frozen on the foggy pier, Victor's words echoing in his ears. For the first time, betrayal didn't sound like surrender, it sounded like power. And Nicole might be the key to wielding it. Nathan barely slept after the pier meeting. Victor's offer gnawed at him: betray his mother or stay her puppet. Neither choice felt like freedom. At breakfast, Camilla sat across from him, eyes sharp above her coffee. "Something's changed," she said. Nathan stiffened. "What do you mean?" "You're restless. Distracted. Who did you talk to?" He almost confessed, almost threw Victor's card onto the table, but stopped himself. "No one. Just tired." Camilla studied him for a long moment, then rose from her chair. "If you're lying, Nathan, remember, secrets never stay buried." As Nicole, Nathan struggled to focus. He botched phone calls, lost track of files, even snapped at Tasha when she asked if he was okay. "Hey," she whispered later, pulling him aside. "I don't know what's going on, but you can trust me. Whatever it is, you're not alone." Her kindness nearly broke him. For the first time, Nathan wondered if Nicole wasn't just a mask. Maybe she was becoming a part of him, someone braver, more empathetic, someone who could stand on her own. But Victor's words still echoed. "Nicole is already your mask. Why not let her be your weapon?" That evening, Camilla called Nathan into her study. A folder lay open on her desk. Inside was the same card Victor had given him. Nathan's blood froze. "You think I don't know?" Camilla said coldly. "Victor contacted you. He's trying to turn you against me." "I didn't." "Don't lie," she snapped. "I built this company by outsmarting men like him. And I won't let my own son be used as his pawn." Her voice softened dangerously. "So I'll make it simple. You're either with me or with him. Choose carefully, Nathan. Because this family doesn't survive traitors." Nathan's world was collapsing. Both Victor and Camilla demanded loyalty, both held secrets, and both were willing to destroy him if he defied them. But for the first time, Nathan wondered, what if I chose neither? That night, Nathan stood before the mirror. Nicole stared back, but this time, she didn't look like a disguise. She looked like an answer. Maybe I don't need to be Nathan, he whispered. Maybe I don't need to be your pawn, Mom. Or yours, Victor. Maybe I can be something else. The next day, Nathan, as Nicole, began quietly collecting information. He copied contracts, memorized schedules, noted both Camilla's and Victor's weak spots. Tasha noticed his intensity. What are you doing? Nicole smiled faintly. Taking control. The annual board meeting arrived. Investors, partners, employees gathered in the grand conference hall. Both Camilla and Victor were present, their rivalry simmering just beneath polite smiles. Midway through, Nicole stood. Excuse me, she said, her voice steady. Before we continue, there's something everyone here should know. Gasps rippled. Camilla's face blanched. Victor's smirk sharpened. Nicole laid out the evidence. Richard and Victor's secret merger, the offshore accounts, the debts, the betrayal. She revealed how both Camilla and Victor had buried the past, one to protect her empire, the other to weaponize it. And while they fought their war in the shadows, Nicole declared, this company became their battlefield. But Harrington and Company doesn't belong to them. It belongs to us, the people who actually keep it alive. The room erupted in whispers. Camilla hissed, what are you doing? Nicole turned to her calmly. Something you never taught me, standing on my own. Victor rose, furious. You think this little performance will stop me? Nicole smiled coolly. No, but the board will. Because I've already shared everything with them. The files. The accounts. Your so-called deals. The chairman cleared his throat. Mr. Lorne, in light of this evidence, your partnership offers are terminated. Effective immediately. Victor's face twisted in rage. He stormed out, his empire crumbling behind him. Camilla stood trembling. You humiliated me. Nicole met her gaze. No, I freed myself. You tried to make me strong by forcing me into Nicole. But what you never understood is that Nicole isn't your tool. She's my choice. Camilla's eyes shimmered with a mix of fury and something softer, pride, perhaps, but she said nothing. For the first time, Nathan, no, Nicole, felt untethered. Not from Victor, not from Camilla, not even from Richard's ghost. The mask had become the face. And the face was hers. Weeks later, Harrington and Company had stabilized. Victor's shadow was gone. Camilla, though weakened, remained CEO, but quieter now, less absolute. Nicole walked into the office one crisp morning. Tasha greeted her warmly. Ready for another day, boss? Nicole smiled. She wasn't just an assistant anymore. The board had recognized her courage and given her a junior executive role. She paused at the mirror in the lobby. The reflection staring back wasn't a frightened boy in borrowed clothes. It wasn't even the reluctant Nicole Camilla had forced into existence. It was her. Not a mask. Not a pawn. A player. Nicole adjusted her blazer, squared her shoulders, and stepped forward. Because the future wasn't Nathan's or Camilla's or Victor's anymore. It was hers.